Coming at you alive, this is Thor's Hour of Thunder. This is one of our dramatic readings. I'm looking for a better term than radio play because you can clearly see us. And joining us in order of, you know what, I was going to say in order of how surprised I am we were able to snag them, but we have just bunch of bangers, no skips on this. So joining us in order of their rank within the FBI, we have Scarlet Witch as Special Agent Fox Mulder.
Hey, all you crazy cats out there in Radioland.
Doesn't the director outrank the special agents?
I think the director probably.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You're gonna get me fired.
Pretty sure I'm the winner here.
Yeah. Excuse me. We have Ballerina Susie as Assistant Director Skinner.
Hello. Thanks for remembering me.
There we go. Well, to be fair, Fox Mulder had her rank right in her name.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
And then we have Xandra from Instagram, who I am meeting for the first time. So thank you for playing Agent Scully.
Thank you for having me. It's what I do, literally.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have, I guess, not in the FBI, but Sheriff Hartwell, I guess, would be the next in terms of having a rank at all. Oh my god, that's a great hat. So, I wasn't sure what you wanted to go by, Pete. But,
just Pete. Pete Richards is fine.
Perfect. Yeah. And then we have the narrator / the editor / lots of glowy stuff going on his screen. We have Kyle.
Ooh. Hello, everybody.
And then a noble profession, the coroner, and other surprise roles. We have Emma.
And I would like to point out that as Skinner's secretary, I outrank several of the people who were before me on this list.
True. You also might remember Emma from me literally just throwing extra parts at her on air during our Arsenic and Old Lace episode.
My southern accent has never been better.
I was about to say, with accent suggestions. And then last but certainly not least, we have McFly. He's the guy who puts this shit together, but he unfortunately does not have a rank, despite the stolen valor of putting agent in his Chiron here.
I have nothing further to add.
So here we go. We'll leave it to the narrator. We are doing the X-Files episode Bad Blood, the inspiration for the Taylor Swift song.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Yeah, it checks out.
All right. Scene 1, Cheney, Texas, February 10th. A teenager runs screaming through the woods on a dark night.
Help me! Somebody help me! That guy's gonna kill me!
A man's legs are visible running after the teen, his coat flying behind him like a cape.
Help me! Somebody help me! Go away!
The man is getting closer to the teen, who is screaming frantically.
Please help me!
The teen stumbles and the man falls on top of him. The man turns the teen on his back and struggles to hold him down. He jams a wooden stake into the teen's chest, grabs a rock, and slams the top of the stake down with it, pushing the stake further into the now quiet teen's chest.
Mulder?
The man is a sweating Mulder. He turns to Scully's voice. She runs to them and stops as she realizes the teen is dead. She kneels down. Mulder pulls the teen's lips apart to reveal fangs.
Look at that, huh?
Scully taps her fingernail to the teeth. A denture falls down. She pulls out the fake fangs and shows them to Mulder.
Oh, shit.
Scene 2, FBI headquarters, X-Files office. Mulder is sitting at his desk. Scully opens the door and peers inside. There is an awkward silence as she comes in, exchanges a look with Mulder, and sits.
Mulder?
Don't
He points his finger at her.
even start with me.
He crinkles up a piece of paper and throws it across the room to the trash can. Scully watches him miss, walk over, and kick the hell out of the can. After letting off some steam, he walks back over to his desk.
I know what I saw.
Skinner wants our report in 1 hour. What are you going to tell him?
What do you mean, what am I going to tell him? I'm going to tell him exactly what I saw. What are you going to tell him?
I'll tell him exactly what I saw.
Now, how is that different?
She gives him a mildly exasperated look.
Look, Scully, I'm the one who may wind up going to prison here. I got to know if you're going to back me up or what.
First of all, if the family of Ronnie Strickland does indeed decide to sue the FBI for, I think the figure is 446 million, then you and I will most certainly be co-defendants. And second of all, I don't even have a second of all, Mulder. 446 million. I'm in this as deep as you are, and I'm not even the one that overreacted. I didn't do the
Scully
with the
makes a
thing.
stabbing motion.
I did not overreact. Ronnie Strickland was a vampire.
Where's your proof?
You're my proof. You were there. Okay. Now you're scaring me. I want to know exactly what you're going to tell Skinner.
Oh, you want our story straight?
No, no, I didn't say that. I just want to hear it the way you saw it.
I don't feel comfortable with that.
Prison, Scully. Your cellmate's nickname is going to be Large Marge. She's going to read a lot of Gertrude Stein.
Scully puts her hand in her face and smiles.
All right.
All right, start at the beginning.
The very beginning?
Mulder returns to his desk and takes a microtape recorder from the drawer and turns it on.
Fine.
She slowly stands up and starts to pace as she talks.
Yesterday morning, when I arrived at work, you were characteristically exuberant.
Scene 3, X-Files office, flashback. Mulder enthusiastically slaps a plane ticket on the desk.
Hope you brought your cowboy boots.
You want us to go to Dallas?
Yeehaw! Actually, a town called Cheney, about 50 miles south of there, population 361. By all accounts, very rustic and charming, but as of late, ground zero, the locus for a series of mysterious nocturnal exsanguinations.
Exsanguinations? Of whom?
Mulder turns on a slide projector.
How does that grab you?
Is that a...
It's a slide of a dead cow on its right side, left feet in the air. Rigor mortis has set in.
Dead cow, exactly. Specifically, a dead 900-pound Holstein. Its body drained of blood, as was this one.
He clicks through a series of slides of dead cows. Scully is wondering why this is important.
This one, this one, and so on. 6 in all, approximately 1 a week over the past 6 weeks.
Is there any sign of,
Small puncture wounds of the neck?
I wasn't asking that.
Too bad. We got him. Check it out.
He clicks to the next slide. It's a close-up picture of 2 puncture marks on the side of a cow's neck.
Well, these may be syringe marks. They are placement meant to emulate fangs. Such ritualistic bloodletting points towards cultists of some sort, in which case...
She notices a look of bemusement on Mulder's face.
What?
Yeah, that's probably it. Satanic cultist. Come on, Scully.
You're not going to tell me you think it's that Mexican goat sucker thing.
El Chupacabra? No. They got 4 fangs, not 2, and they suck goats, hence the name.
So instead, this would be...
Classic vampirism.
of a bunch of cows.
And 1 dead human last night, a vacationer from New Jersey.
Scully looks at Mulder as he leaves.
Come on, we got to go.
Why the hell didn't you tell me that from the beginning?
Lock the door on your way out.
Sully sighs with a groan. Scene 4, Cheney, Texas, Peaceful Slumbers Funeral Parlor. A view of coffins, a lot of them, as we hear Scully's voiceover.
The town of Cheney is too small to maintain a morgue facility. As such, we made our way to the Peaceful Slumbers Funeral Home in order to examine the body of one Mr. Dwight Funt, recently deceased.
Mulder and Scully stand next to a mortician in the middle of all the coffins. Scully looks around the room as she continues the voiceover. We pan up from the cowboy boots to the jeans, gun belt, shirt and jacket, badge, wonderful smile, and cowboy hat of a handsome fella who just walked in.
It was there that we were met by a representative of local law enforcement, Sheriff.
Lucius Hartwell, you the FBI agents?
Scully is staring at the handsome officer, lost in a cloud.
Yes, I'm Agents Mulder and yeah, Scully. What do you say we go take a look at your victim?
Yeah, by all means, after you.
Mulder walks to the door. Scully and Hartwell's eyes connect, and she smiles.
Come on, Scully, get those little legs moving. Come on.
Scully's pleasant smile turns to annoyance at Mulder, and she walks to the door.
Boy.
Scene 5, examination room, moments later. Mulder, Scully, and Hartwell look at the body.
Here we go.
Nice threads.
The corpse is wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Scully snaps on latex gloves and comes up behind Mulder to look at the victim.
No exam has been done?
No, ma'am. He's just like we found him in the motel room. Once I heard you folks were interested, I figured we'd best leave it up to the experts.
Scully smiles at him.
Your satanic cultists have some sharp little teeth.
What satanic cultists?
Go ahead, tell him your, theory.
Well, my theory has evolved. Basically, I think we're looking for someone who has seen too many Bela Lugosi movies. He believes he is a vampire, therefore...
They act like one. Yeah. And that makes a whole lot of sense. I think she's right.
Scully smiles and looks down in almost embarrassment, but nonetheless happy as Mulder looks bewildered.
What about the fang marks?
Well, someone so obsessed might well file down their incisors. I think a moulage casting should help us make an identification.
Moulage casting. That's a good idea.
Scully is glowing.
Now, isn't there some kind of disease that makes a person think they're a vampire?
Hartwell walks closer to Scully, leaving no room next to her for Mulder, who moves back and looks at the two of them.
Well, there is a psychological fixation called hematodipsia, which causes the sufferer to gain erotic satisfaction from consuming human blood.
Erotic. Yeah.
Scully smiles.
There are also genetic afflictions, which cause a heightened sensitivity to light, to garlic, porphyria, xeroderma, pigmentosum.
You really know your stuff, Dana.
Scene 6, X-Files office, today. Mulder cuts Scully off mid-story.
Dana? He never even knew your first name.
You gonna interrupt me, or what?
No. Go ahead, Dana.
Anyway, that's when you had your big breakthrough or whatever.
Scene 7, examination room, later.
What do you think, Hartwell?
Sheriff, you might want to check the technology.
Agent Scully, you really know your stuff.
Sheriff, you say this man is as exactly as you found him?
Yes, sir, to the letter.
Have you noticed that this man's shoes are untied?
Yeah, they are.
Mulder, what's your point?
This means something. Sheriff, do you have an old cemetery in town off the beaten path? The creepier, the better.
Yeah.
Take me there now.
He snaps his fingers at the sheriff.
Mulder.
Scully, we're going to need a complete autopsy on this man. The sooner, the better.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What am I even looking for?
She walks over to Mulder, who puts his hands on her shoulders and pulls her close.
I don't know.
He releases her and walks out. Scully smiles at Hartwell.
He does that.
Come on, Sheriff Hartwell.
He walks by Scully and tips his hat to her.
Ma'am?
Later. Now in Scrubs, Scully rolls a tray of surgical tools to the corpse while talking in a micro tape recorder.
"4:54 p.m. Begin autopsy on white male, age 60, who is arguably having a worse time in Texas than I am, although not by much.
She holds a scalpel in her hand.
I'll begin with the Y incision.
The blade falls to the floor.
Yeehaw.
Later. Scully plunks his heart out on a scale tray and looks up at the readout.
Heart weighs 370 grams. Tissue appears healthy.
She plunks a lung into the tray and looks at the readout.
Left lung weighs 345 grams. Tissue appears healthy.
She plops large intestines in the tray. They slop around the edges as she pushes them back on the tray and looks at the readout.
Large intestine, 890 grams. Yada, yada, yada.
Later. The corpse is splayed open with Scully hunched over him, looking in the stomach.
Stomach contents show last meal close to the time of death, consisting of pizza topped with pepperoni, green peppers, mushrooms. That sounds really good.
She works the kinks out of her neck and continues. Scene 8, Davy Crockett Motor Court, later. Scully's voiceover continues.
Having completed the autopsy, I checked into the Davy Crockett Motor Court.
The name of it was actually the Sam Houston Motor Lodge.
The name on screen changes to the Sam Houston Motor Lodge. Scene 9, Scully's room. Scully puts money in the magic fingers box, causing the bed to begin vibrating. She lays back in heaven, kicking off her shoes. Mulder opens the door and looks at her.
Chloral hydrate.
What?
He enters.
What the hell happened to you?
She sits up on the bed. The whole front of Mulder's jacket and pants are covered with mud.
Nothing. Chloral hydrate?
Yeah, that thing you didn't know that you were looking for? Chloral hydrate. More colorfully known as knockout drops. I found it in abundance when I sent the tox screen in on our murder victim. Now seriously, Mulder, what happened to you?
Nothing. Who slipped him the Mickey?
My theory? You're a vampire. He found it necessary to dope poor Mr. Funt to the gills before he was able to extract his blood. Probably did it to the cows, too.
What kind of vampire would do that?
Exactly.
We got another dead tourist. You got to do another autopsy.
Tonight? I just put money in the magic fingers.
I won't let it go to waste.
Mulder jumps on the bed, landing next to Scully. She wrinkles her nose at his stench. He laughs with glee as she gets out of bed and puts on her shoes. Mulder is still laughing when Scully takes her coat and walks to the door.
This one's my room, Mulder. Don't get mud everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Outside, the pizza delivery man walks to Scully's door with a pizza as she exits.
Excuse me, ma'am, did you order a pizza?
Yeah, the guy in there will pay for it.
She walks to the car as the delivery boy turns. We can see that it's the teen from the opening scene. Scene 10, examination room, later. Scully's doing another autopsy as she talks in voiceover. She's not in a good mood, going through the motions very sloppily.
Foregoing both dinner and sleep, I was soon back at the funeral home, examining one Mr. Paul Lombardo from Naples.
She slaps the objects in the tray this time.
Florida. Heart. Lung. Large intestine.
The intestines slop out of the tray and onto the floor. Scully just watches, not caring and obviously tired and put out. She has really bad neck problems, working the kinks out as she speaks.
As with the previous victim, it appears the subject was most likely incapacitated with chloral hydrate and then exsanguinated.
Her cell phone rings.
Scully.
She only hears breathing.
Hello? Hello?
She hangs up, sighs, then puts on new latex gloves.
Where was I? Oh, stomach contents.
She hunches over the corpse.
Stomach contents include pizza. Chlorohydrates in the pizza. The pizza guy. Mulder.
Scene 11, Scully's room, later. Scully kicks in the door with her gun drawn.
Mulder?
The half-eaten pizza vibrates off the bed. She sees Mulder's feet on the floor on the other side of the bed. Ronnie comes out from the side of the bed and hisses. Scully fires at him. He leaps over the bed and across the room, knocking her down. He runs outside. Scully rolls across the floor to the door and fires into the night. Scene 12, X-Files office. Today, Mulder has his hand on the desk. Head on the desk.
That's it?
Well, luckily I'd gotten there in time. I mean, though you were drugged, you were more or less unharmed.
Scene 13, Scully's room. Flashback. Scully walks to the other side of the bed. Mulder's on the floor.
Mulder, are you okay?
She turns his face to her, and she softly slaps it to wake him up. He wakes up and sings.
Who's the black private dick who's a sex machine with all the chicks? Ooh, Shaft! Can you dig it? They say this cat Shaft is a bad mother. Shut your mouth! Talking about Shaft!
Scene 14, X-Files office. Today. Mulder bolts out of his chair.
I did not.
Scully's expression seems to convey, yes, you did.
Long story short, though my first 4 shots obviously missed Ronnie Strickland entirely, with my 5th I was able to shoot out a tire on his car, forcing him to escape on foot. I left you behind, and I entered the woods in pursuit. I assumed that you were incapacitated. Then I heard screaming. When I arrived in the clearing, I found that you had caught up with him first and had overreacted. And that his vampire teeth were fake.
That's what you're going to tell Skinner?
Well, I'm going to argue that we caught a killer. An utterly non-supernatural killer, but a killer nonetheless. And that your zeal to catch up with him was augmented by the chlorohydrate you were given.
You are afraid to tell the truth.
Excuse me?
That's not the way it happened at all. I mean, what are you afraid of? That if you tell the story the way it really happened, that you'll look like an idiot, like me?
Mulder,
She looks at the idiot.
why don't you tell me the way you think it happened? Starting at the beginning.
Damn right. Yesterday morning began like any other morning. You arrived at the office characteristically less than exuberant.
Scene 15, X-Files office, flashback, Mulder's version. Mulder gently places a ticket on the desk.
Hope you brought your cowboy boots.
Why are we going to Dallas?
In this version, Mulder is timid and deferential, giving Scully every opportunity to speak her mind. Scully, on the other hand, is exaggeratedly impatient and skeptical.
Actually, it's just a little town just south of there called Cheney, Texas. They've had some incidents down there recently, which I think you'll agree are pretty unusual.
Like what?
Well, I brought some slides with me, with which to better illustrate. Here we go.
He turns on the first slide.
It's a dead cow.
It's actually 6 dead cows. And here's the really interesting thing.
Why am I looking at 6 dead cows?
Well, because of the manner in which they died. All 6 were mysteriously exsanguinated.
And?
Oh, 2 little puncture marks right here on the side of the neck. Look, I got a slide of that.
He goes through each slide of all 6 dead cows slowly, seemingly embarrassed that Scully has to put up with all this. She looks at him to maybe speed it up a little. He finally gets to the puncture marks. Scully nods sharply. Yep, there it is.
And 1 dead human victim last night, a vacationer from New Jersey. His body completely drained of blood and 2 little puncture wounds on his neck. Okay, look, Scully, I don't want to jump to any hasty conclusions, but on the strength of the evidence that we have here, I think that we may be looking at what appears to be a series of vampire or vampire-like acts.
On what do you base that?
Well, on the corpses drained of blood and the fang marks on the neck.
Scully rolls her eyes.
But as always, I'm very eager to hear your opinion.
Well, it's obviously not a vampire.
Well, why not?
Because they don't exist.
Well, that's one opinion, and I respect that. Nonetheless, I'm thinking a murder has been committed here, and we can go down there and help bring a killer to justice in whatever form, mortal or immortal, he may take.
It's not that Mexican goat sucker either.
Scene 16, Cheney, Texas, Peaceful Slumbers Funeral Home, flashback. Mulder's take on the same scene.
Upon arriving at the funeral home, I made an interesting observation, one which you apparently didn't hear.
Mulder speaks to the mortician.
That's a whole lot of caskets.
The largest in-stock selection in the state.
Why would a town with a population of only 361 need that?
Repeat business. Mortician humor? Excuse me.
He leaves.
Apparently, your mind was somewhere else.
Sheriff Hartwell walks in. Scully is dazzled.
Oh boy!
Mulder's version of Hartwell is somewhat the same in appearance, except for when he speaks. He has massive buck teeth.
Y'all must be the government people. I'm Lucius Hartwell.
They all smile at each other. Lucius in welcome, Mulder in horror, Scully with pleasure. Scene 17, X-Files office, today.
He had big buck teeth?
He had a slight overbite.
No, he didn't.
Mulder shrugs.
And that's significant. How?
I'm just trying to be thorough. So anyway, then we went to take a look at the body.
Scene 18, examination room. The same scene. Scully is swooning over the handsome sheriff with horrific teeth.
Here we go.
No exam has been done?
No, sir. This is just like we found him in the motel room as is.
Scully gazes at the sheriff dreamily.
No exam has been done?
No, ma'am. Once I heard y'all was interested, I figured we'd best leave it up to the experts.
Scully smiles broadly.
Now, that can't be what it looks like, right?
Well, that depends on what you think it looks like, Sheriff Hartwell. Vampires have always been with us in ancient myths and stories passed down from early man.
Scully stands behind Mulder, smiling, eyes wide, rocking from side to side, goofing around.
From the Babylonian Ikimu to the Chinese Guangxi to Motetstem of the Hebrews, the Mormo of the ancient Greece, and Rome to the more familiar Nosferatu of Transylvania.
Mormo. Yeah.
In short, Sheriff, no, this can't be what it looks like. I think what we're looking at here is simply a case of some lunatic who has watched one too many Bela Lugosi movies. He wishes he could transfigure himself into a creature of the night.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, what she said, that's what I'm thinking. And yeah.
Scully loves being right.
Still, that leaves us in something of a quandary because there are as many different kinds of vampires as there are cultures that fear them.
Scully yawns and covers her mouth.
Some don't even subsist on blood. The Bulgarian Ubor, for example, eats only manure.
Thank you.
To the Serbs, a prime indicator of vampirism is red hair.
He raises his hand to Scully's head.
Some vampires are thought to be eternal, others are thought to have a lifespan of only 40 days.
Scully points at her watch, rolling her eyes, carrying on.
Sunlight kills certain vampires, while others come and go as they please, day or night.
Scully sighs deeply from boredom.
If there's a point, Mulder, please feel free to come to it.
My point is that we don't know exactly what we're looking for. What kind of vampire, or if you prefer, what kind of vampire this killer wishes himself to be.
Mulder notices the untied shoes on the corpse and stands with his head between his feet. Scene 19, X-Files office, today.
Now, why is it so important that his shoes were untied?
I'm getting to it.
Back to cemetery, day.
So while you stayed behind to do the autopsy, the sheriff drove me to the town cemetery.
Hartwell opens the gate and they walk through. The cemetery is certainly not off the beaten path. The creepier the better.
Agent Mulder, you mind me asking why we're out here?
Historically, cemeteries were thought to be a haven for vampires, as are castles, catacombs, and swamps. But unfortunately, you don't have any of those.
We used to have swamps. Only the EPA made us take to calling them wetlands.
Hmm. Yeah. So we're out here looking for signs of vampiric activity.
Which would be like uh
Broken or shifted tombstones, the absence of birds singing.
there you go. Cause I ain't hearing any birds singing, right? Of course, it is winter and we ain't got no birds. Is there anything else?
A faint groaning coming from under the earth, the sound of manducation, of the creature eating its own death shroud.
No manna, mama, ma,
Manducation.
indication. No.
Now, Sheriff, I know my methods may seem a little off to you, but
Hey, look, y'all work for the federal government, and that's all I need to know. I mean, CIA, Secret Service, y'all run the show. So, there.
it's just that, my gut instinct tells me that the killer will visit this place. that it may well hold some fascination, some kind of siren call for him, you know?
A horn honks.
Honk. Howdy, Sheriff.
Oh, hey, Ronnie. How's it going?
Can't complain.
Well, all right then.
Ronnie drives off.
Maybe after nightfall, Sheriff, but he'll come. He'll come.
We watch the car drive off down the road. Scene 20, cemetery night. Mulder is looking around with his flashlight.
So we staked out the cemetery.
Scene 21, X-Files office, today.
Mulder. Shoelaces?
Hmm.
On the corpse. You were going to tell me what was meaningful about finding untied shoelaces.
I'm getting to it.
Scene 22, cemetery night. Mulder is spreading sunflower seeds around the cemetery. He gets into the sheriff's car.
Sunflower seed?
He accidentally drops some.
Oh, sorry.
No thanks. Do you mind?
He picks up a seed that fell from Mulder's bag and tosses it.
Do you mind me asking what you were?
Oh, historically, certain types of seeds were thought to fascinate vampires, chiefly oats and millet. But you can make do with what you have. Remember when I said before that we don't know what type of vampire we were looking for?
Yeah.
Well, oddly enough, there seems to be one obscure fact, which in all the stories told by different cultures is exactly the same. And that's that vampires are really, really obsessive compulsive. Yeah. You toss a handful of seeds at one, no matter what he's doing, he's got to stop and pick it up. If he sees a knotted rope, he's got to untie it. It's in his nature. In fact, that's why I'm guessing that our victim's shoelaces were untied.
Yeah. Obsessive. Like Rain Man.
Mulder nods.
It's like when that old boy dropped them matchsticks and he had to pick them all up. The same thing, right?
Well, he didn't actually pick them up, he counted them.
Oh, yeah, 247. Right off the top of your head.
Well, if he had picked them up, he would have been a vampire.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I know I'm in law enforcement, but I'd like to take him to Vegas myself, am I right?
Well, that would be illegal, wouldn't it?
He's like a little calculator.
Yeah.
Sheriff, you got your radio on?
Excuse me. Hey, Charlene, what's up?
I just got a call from the RV park. They got something of a situation there. Looks like you might want to have a look.
They take off, lights flashing. Scene 23, Rolling Acres RV camp. A motorhome drives in reverse, going in circles. People watch. Hartwell and Mulder arrive, getting out of the car and watching it go by. Ronnie walks up to them.
Hey again, Sheriff.
Hey again, Ronnie.
Guess you got yourselves a runaway, huh?
Well, yeah, Ronnie, I guess we do.
He turns to Mulder.
What do you think? We ought to shoot the tires out?
Anyway, skipping ahead.
Scene 24, X-Files office, today.
Why skip ahead? What happened then? Mulder. You shot out the tires. And then what?
Scene 25, Rolling Acres RV camp, flashback. The motorhome is still going full speed in circles in reverse. Mulder and Sheriff Hartwell fire at the tires.
Here's something you might not know. Shooting out the tires on a runaway RV is a lot harder than it looks.
The RV doesn't slow down at all.
I then tried a different approach. Help!
Moments later, Mulder is hanging on for dear life to the back ladder of the RV, body flat to the ground, the source of the mud on his clothes.
Come on, bird dog it. Attaway.
Help!
He lets go, the momentum rolling him away, landing in a mud puddle. The people walk to him.
Ow. How you doing there?
The sheriff helps him up. They stand and watch the RV slow to a halt in front of them.
Finally, we prevailed.
The RV has run out of gas. They open the door, and the upper part of a man's body falls out, puncture marks on his neck.
That's the same as the others.
Right down to the shoes.
They are untied.
We interviewed everyone present. No one had seen anything.
Scene 26, Scully's room, later. We see Mulder's peaceful, tired, serene face as he talks in voiceover.
Tired, frustrated, and lacking a solid lead, I just wanted to get cleaned up. I had the sheriff drop me in the motel, which is where I ran into you.
At the sound of Scully's angry voice, his head snaps up.
What do you mean you want me to do another autopsy?
Scully is sitting on the side of the vibrating bed, screaming and talking fast, her voice vibrating.
Why do I have to do it right now? I just spent hours on my feet doing an autopsy, all for you. I do it all for you, Mulder. You know, I haven't eaten since 6 o'clock this morning, and all that was half a cream cheese bagel, and it wasn't even real cream cheese. It was light cream cheese. And now you want me to run off and do another autopsy?
She notices the mud.
What the hell happened to you?
Scully gets up and walks to the door.
Finally, you left.
Don't you touch that bed.
She slams the door behind her, causing a picture on the wall to come loose. Mulder turns off the TV. He takes his coat off and puts it on the chair, takes off his suit jacket and drops it on the floor. He goes into the bathroom. Later, Mulder's muddy shoes are on the floor.
Hello? Hey again.
Mulder comes up out of the bathroom with just his underwear on and an undershirt.
Hoochie mama. Anyway, lady outside, she said you'd pay for this?
She ordered a pizza from you. Excellent. How much?
$12.98.
Okay, let me get my wallet.
He goes into the bathroom and comes out with his wallet.
Okay. How much?
It's $12.98.
Okay, all right. There's 13.
Okay, then enjoy.
The teen leaves. Mulder opens the pizza.
Ah, Scully.
Later, the pizza is on the vibrating bed, 2 pieces missing. Mulder takes another piece and has trouble getting it to his mouth as his arm is locked under him on the Magic Fingers bed.
So, I ate your dinner.
The vibrating stops and he reaches behind him to deposit more money.
And that's when I saw it.
He sees his shoes, untied.
But by then it was too late.
He realizes he's been drugged and reaches for the phone. He falls off the bed. He dials the phone.
Oh. Mm. Mm. Agent Scully, we can't hear you.
Hello? Scully?
Mulder just groans.
Hello?
Mm.
Mulder sees Ronnie's shadow at the window. Then he walks in the door.
Creep.
Scully hangs up. Ronnie comes in. Mulder throws the phone at him and falls on the floor. Ronnie moves closer. His eyes are glowing green in the dark. He hisses, revealing fangs. Mulder's hand reaches up to the nightstand, grabs some sunflower seeds, and throws them at Ronnie.
Oh, man. What'd you have to do that for? You're in big trouble.
Ronnie stoops to pick them up. Mulder tries to stand up, but falls on the floor.
Ugh. Then I was out cold. I don't know for how long, but when I finally came to.
Ronnie is bent over him, eyes glowing, teeth flaring, ready to bite.
Mulder?
Ronnie looks at the door and stands. Scully's shots hit Ronnie square in the chest. Ronnie leaps across the bed. Scene 27, X-Files office, today.
You're saying that I actually hit him 2 times?
Square in the chest, no effect.
And then he sort of flew at me like a flying squirrel.
Well, I don't think I'll use the phrase flying squirrel when I talk to Skinner, but yeah, that's what happened.
Scene 28, Scully's room, flashback. Mulder is breaking up a wooden chair during the voiceover.
You checked on me, then left to pursue Ronnie Strickland into the woods. Once I recovered, I knew what I had to do.
He picks up one of the legs, now a stake as it broke off, splintered. Scene 29, Forest, opening scene. Ronnie is running through the woods.
I caught sight of him, chased him over hill and dale, and in the end,
He puts the stake through Ronnie's heart. Scene 30, X-Files office, today.
Mulder, it's not just me. Nobody in their right mind will ever believe that story.
well, they'll have to once they examine Roddy Strickland's body.
They both look at their watches anxiously. Their meeting with Skinner is coming up. Scene 31, Dallas-Fort Worth Pathology Lab. The coroner walks in with a clipboard and walks to a slab. He turns on a tape recorder.
Case 0026198, Ronald Lavelle Strickland.
We see Ronnie's sheet-covered body with a high dome on the chest. The coroner pulls the sheet back. The stake is still in Ronnie's chest.
Probable cause of death.
He looks at the stake.
Gee, that's a tough one.
He pulls the stake out and walks to a table. In the background, Ronnie sits up. The coroner, hearing a noise, turns and sees Ronnie, eyes glowing green. Ronnie licks his teeth and is surprised to find he has no fangs. He attacks the coroner anyway. Scene 32, FBI headquarters. Assistant Director Skinner's reception. Kimberly, the secretary, is at her desk. Mulder and Scully are sitting on the couch looking like school kids waiting for the principal. Scully leans over to straighten Mulder's tie. He pushes her hand away. The phone rings and Secretary Kimberly answers it.
Assistant Director Skinner's office. Oh, I'm sorry. He's about to go into a meeting. Yes, it may be several hours.
Scully hears this and reacts. Oh boy.
You're welcome.
Scully leans over to whisper to Mulder.
Mulder, please just keep reminding him that you were drugged.
You stop that.
Wouldn't hurt.
Stop it.
Skinner opens his door and sticks his head out.
Scully, Mulder.
They stand quickly.
I was drugged.
I want you back in Texas. Ronnie Strickland's body has disappeared from the morgue. Apparently, in conjunction with this, a coroner's been attacked. His throat was bitten?
The coroner's dead?
No. His throat was bitten. It was sort of not on. Daylight's burning, agents.
He goes back into his office, leaving Mulder and Scully standing there in shock for a minute.
But he was dead.
I noticed that.
With a stake through his heart.
I noticed that too.
Scene 33, Cemetery Night. Mulder and Scully walk through the cemetery with their flashlights as they talk.
So we should find Ronnie out here because...
Because tradition states that a vampire needs to sleep in his native soil.
Oh.
Yeah.
But Mulder, he had fake fangs. Why would a real vampire need fake fangs? I mean, for the sake of argument.
Fangs are rarely mentioned in the folklore. Real vampires aren't actually thought to have them. It's more an invention of Bram Stoker's. I think maybe you were right before when you said that this is just a guy who's watched too many Dracula movies. He just happens to be a real vampire.
Scully looks around.
So where the hell is he?
What about his family? The ones who are going to sue us for $446 million.
Well, an aunt and an uncle. Their mail comes general delivery to a local post office.
No home address?
A car pulls up.
Oh, that's the sheriff.
They walk out of the gate to meet him, Scully smiling.
Evening, agents. I heard y'all was back in town. Thought I might be of some assistance.
As he talks, Scully flashes her teeth to Mulder and points to them. Hartwell, in fact, does not have buck teeth.
Yeah, actually you can. You can stay behind here with Agent Scully and keep an eye on things while I check something out.
He puts his hand on her shoulder, saying quietly in an exaggerated southern accent,
Don't say I never did nothing for you.
Where are you going?
Where might you be living if your mail came general delivery around here?
The RV park.
You're good.
Mulder leaves. Scully and the sheriff smile at each other. Scene 34, sheriff's car later. Hardwell pours some coffee for Scully.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
Scully drinks.
So, what do you think about the vampires?
You mean, aside from the fact that I don't believe in them?
Yeah, aside from that.
Well, they're supposed to be extremely charming, seductive.
She drinks.
No, I mean, even if they did really exist, who's to say they'd actually be like that? As Agent Mulder says, there are so many different kinds of vampires.
Yep, sure are. I really need to apologize to you about Ronnie. He makes us all look bad. He's just not who we are anymore.
Scully realizes she's been drugged and is beginning to show the effects.
I mean, we pay taxes, we're good neighbors. Old Ronnie, he can't quite seem to grasp the concept of low profile.
Scully's head falls to the seat back. Hardwell takes the coffee cup and looks away.
But though he may be a moron, he is one of our own.
He turns back to her. His eyes are glowing green in the dark. Scene 35, motorhome. Mulder walks up to the home and steps on a pizza saver, also known as one of those things that keeps the cheese from melting to the top of the box. He opens the door and walks in, finding a coffin.
Hello?
He opens it. Ronnie's inside, headphones on and listening to something rocky.
Sleeping late.
Ronnie bolts up. Mulder slams the cover shut and gets on top. The cover rocks up and down as Ronnie tries to get out.
Ronnie Strickland, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Come on, cut it out, Ronnie.
He looks out the window and sees the townsfolk walking to the motorhome, eyes glowing.
Oh, damn.
He hooks the handcuffs to the handles to lock Ronnie in. He shines his flashlight around the trailer and spots some garlic breadsticks, grabs two, and goes out. He shapes the breadsticks into a cross and thrusts it at the townsfolk.
Back!
It doesn't work.
No! Ah!
They all crowd around him. He's lost in a sea of vampires. Scene 36, front seat of car, next morning. Mulder's shoes are sticking out of the driver's side. A sheriff's badge on a coat appears in the window.
Mulder?
Scully is wearing the sheriff's coat.
Scully, what happened?
I came to in the cemetery. That's all I know.
Mulder checks his neck in the rearview window. It's clean. He gets out of the car and looks at Scully. He checks her neck. It's clean. He looks down at the coat, decides not to say anything, and then looks around the deserted trailer park.
They pulled up stakes.
Mulder's all muddy and his shoes are untied. Scully stoops down to tie them. Scene 37, Skinner's office. Skinner's sitting behind his desk, not amused.
So that's it? They simply disappeared without a trace? And that's exactly the way it happened from start to finish?
Mulder and Scully are sitting in chairs across from him.
Well, I can neither confirm nor deny Agent Mulder's version of events which occurred outside my presence.
And I can neither confirm nor deny Agent Scully's version of events. But
Anyway, I was drugged.
that is essentially exactly the way it happened.
Essentially.
Fade to black.
Except for the part about the buck teeth.